I'm just going to make a quick video for the basic operation of the Tower dual basket air fryer. The reason being is I think Tower have overcomplicated the actual operation of the machine and the instructions themselves aren't that clear. So this is for anyone who's just starting out, who's a little bit confused at what they've read and obviously when they come to operate it. So the model, as you can see, is a dual basket. It's the Tower model number T17088. It's a 9-litre dual basket air fryer. I'd certainly recommend you read the instructions. As before, there are bits and pieces that you do need to know, but like I say, it can be a little bit confusing when you actually come to operate it. But read them first anyway and see how you get on. Okay, so what I've seen a lot of on different forums are people asking, can I cook this in the air fryer? Can I cook that in an air fryer? The simple answer is, this is, all it is an actual fact, a small fan assisted oven. It's as simple as that. That is all it is. It's a little bit confusing in the name because it's an air fryer. They're not air fryers. What they actually are is small fan assisted ovens. Okay, so let me just show you what I mean by that. If we go over to my main oven. Okay, so in the main oven, if we just open that up, in the back, you'll see the fan, and around the fan, you probably can't see, but there is actually a heating element. So basically what you do, you put your oven on, you put it to set the temperature, however hot you want it. The fan obviously spins round and it basically heats the whole oven up evenly, and obviously your food. Okay, so that is your main oven. It's a fan assisted oven. So if we go back to what they call an air fryer, which I'll say is basically, it's a mini oven. Let's quickly take out these baskets. If you look underneath, exactly the same. If you look above, you have the fan. Obviously don't do this if that's powering up, but you've got your fan and you've got your heating element. Now this particular one, because it's a twin basket, it's got exactly the same on the other side. So you've got a fan behind and the heating element. So all they're going to do is the heating element heats up and the fan blows the hot air into the basket, keeping a nice even temperature. Okay, while we've got the baskets out, just very quickly, these heating trays out. So these little trays that come in the basket are basically, you'll see they've got little rubber ends on all four corners. They stay on. The reason being, it's when you put them into the basket, they don't scrape on the non-stick surface and obviously damage it. So keep those on, and I would certainly keep those in as well when you're cooking, because obviously what it does, it keeps the food slightly above the base tin, and it will obviously get heat going underneath, and then it heats the bottom, whatever food you're in there, so it gets a nice even cooking. Okay, so let's quickly put everything back in again. The next thing you need to know is what it says in the instructions. You need at least 10cm gap all round the air fryer when you're using it. The reason being, it does get warm. I wouldn't say hot, but it gets warm on both sides. You can certainly touch both sides. You won't burn yourself. But what you do need to do is to pull it away from any walls or any side. And the reason being, the back especially, you need to keep away from the walls. And the reason is, if you look on here, you've got two air vents, one there and one there. And in operation, there is hot air comes out of both these air vents. Okay, so if it's very close to a wall, if it's very close to a plug socket, I don't think it would catch fire, but it would get very hot and there may be some melting of the plug. So all I just say is keep the back especially away from the wall, minimum of 10cm, but like I say, I pull up right the way out when I'm using it. Okay, so operation itself, if we go and turn it on, okay, that starts to come up. Now it goes into standby mode. The standby mode is obviously indicated with a little red button, the same as the TV. Okay, so it's in standby mode at the moment. So you need to press the little red illuminated light, which will bring the whole display up. Okay, so all we've got to do is press the button and that brings the display up. Now this is where I think a lot of people get confused, because what Tower have done, they've overcomplicated all the different cooking foods on the front. You really only need to know what the temperature is and your cooking time. So for example, to get it started, this is what you have to do. You have no choice. You either press button 1, and button 1 relates to your basket. So if you're cooking in 1, you need to press 1 first of all. You have to do that before you do anything else. If you're cooking in basket 2, you have to press button 2 for basket 2. You have to do that first of all, otherwise nothing will happen. So we'll just work from the top. So we now know that basket 1 is 1, basket 2 is number 2. What you've also got is temperature. Okay, now it's no good pressing the actual temperature thermometer. What you need to do, you need to press either the minus or the plus either side of it. And what that does is obviously it will increase or decrease the temperature of the oven. On the other side, you've got the time. Again, there's no point pressing the clock symbol. It doesn't do nothing, it's just illuminated. What one's to do to change the time is again the plus or the minus, and that will adjust the times, increasing or decreasing the time. And then you've got your displays. You've got 2 displays. This one is for basket 1. This one is for basket 2. Okay, so let's just get the basic starting up for you. So we're just going to go with, we'll just go for basket 1 to start off with. So you have to press basket 1 to start off with, and that will flash as it does now. Then the next thing you have to do is to press one of these food symbols. To be perfectly honest with you, these don't really relate to the proper cooking times. All they are is just a set time and a set temperature. So it's irrelevant which one you really press. For example, the first one here is chips. Now you may have big chunky chips, or you may have small thin French fries. So if you press basket 1 and the chips, Tower have already pre-programmed a certain temperature at a certain time. But like I said, they don't know whether you've got chunky chips or little French fries. So you will still need to adjust this display here using either the temperature to increase or decrease, or the time to either increase or decrease. So let's just get back to the basic operation. So we'll just say again, we're going to pick basket 1 for the moment, and we're going to do, we'll say chips, because that's the easiest one to show you. So I pressed chips. So the display now is telling me it will heat up to 200 degrees for 18 minutes. Okay, 200 degrees for 18 minutes. Now all you do from there is you go down to this play button and you can start it, and that's exactly what it'll do. It'll heat up to 200 degrees for 18 minutes. And the countdown on the clock will be 18, then I'll go 17, 16, 15, etc, etc. So it'll always go down. When it gets to 0, you'll get quite a few beeps, and then the whole thing shuts down into standby mode, and then obviously you are ready to take your chips out. However, as I said before, maybe 200 degrees for 18 minutes isn't going to be enough for chunky chips. I mean, I know, for example, our oven, chunky chips, is 200 degrees and it's about 30 minutes. So you will still need to adjust the, on this one, the temperature's okay, but for me, the time needs to increase. So all we need to do is go to the time, and you can press 18 minutes. If you press plus, you'll see, sorry, let me just get the button. Again, you have to make sure this is one is flashing for it to do any operation. So we're going back here, it's 18 minutes. So if I want to increase it, 19 minutes, 20 minutes. If I keep my finger on it, it will go up a lot quicker. Obviously it's too much, so I can put my finger on the other way to bring it down again. 30 minutes again, I could have maybe gone a little bit less, and you think, oh, that's too low. Then again, either just press it gently and it'll go up in minutes. If you keep your finger on it, it goes up a lot quicker. Okay. So now we're up to 30 minutes, which is what I would have if I had chunky chips in basket one. And then I press the play button, and basically it will heat up to 200 degrees and it will cook for 30 minutes. Okay, so that's the basic operation. If, however, I wanted to do something else, because obviously this is a twin basket, so I can do some other foods in there. So I can leave that one as it is. I now want to put, so I've got chips in one. I now want to do chicken in basket 2. So again, you have to press number 2 to get it flashing. Okay, then you can go down to the symbol. To be honest with you, it doesn't matter what symbol you press, because you're still going to sit in there and probably readjust the time and the temperature. So I could just press cake if I wanted to. It's irrelevant, it's just the time. But there is a chicken sign on there, so we'll just do chicken for the moment. Okay, sorry, that's gone off again. So you must make sure this is flashing, otherwise nothing will happen. So it's flashing there. I'm going down to chicken, press that, and it's now telling that the chicken is going to be cooked at 200 degrees for 20 minutes. Now again, that could be, maybe that's showing drumsticks. Maybe you've got a crown of chicken, so it would need more. Or maybe you just got little chicken wings, which will probably take less. So you might need to adjust the time or the temperature up or down. Again, quick and easy to do. You must press the button which corresponds to the drawer. So for example here, I'm going to press 2 again to make sure it's flashing, otherwise nothing will happen. And then I want to bring the temperature down, because they're wings. Let's just say I'll bring the temperature down to 108 degrees. So if we go across here and we press the minus button, sorry, it's obviously gone off again. You only get a few seconds to press whichever one you do. So you go back to the basket and make sure that's flashing. We'll go back over to the temperature, and I want to bring that down. If you watch, here we go, it's 180 degrees. That's too less. I want to go back up, so I can just press the plus. There's 180 degrees. And just say, for example, I think, no, the time's wrong as well. I need it to be 25 minutes. So again, make sure that number 2 is flashing. If it stops flashing, which it has now, it won't do nothing, so you press it again. And I want to bring the time up to 25 minutes. So the time is this symbol here, and I need to plus. So that's that one, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. So now we've got chicken and chips cooking in both of these, and all I need to do from there is press the play button, and that will then put both of the baskets on, and it will then cook one for 30 minutes and one for 25 minutes. Now this is going to be a problem, because that means that my chicken wings are going to finish earlier than my chips. So there is a function on here, and I'll show you in a moment when we come back to that. Okay, let's just quickly turn. The only way you can cancel all this, by the way, is you have to turn it off into standby mode and then turn it back on again. Okay, so we're back to where we started from. You also have a preheat feature on here, which will preheat both baskets or one of the baskets. It doesn't matter which one. You can actually just use one basket on its own. You don't have to use both baskets, but you'll have to select which basket you want, otherwise nothing will work. So just say, for example, I did want to preheat one. Let's say, for example, we want to preheat basket 2. So you have to press, the first thing you have to press is tell it which basket you need. So we're going to press 2. And then the preheat is this end here. So you press that. So it's now telling me it's going to run at 180 degrees. It's going to heat up to 180 degrees for 3 minutes. And all I have to do now is press the play button there, and it will start it will heat up to 180 degrees. And it will show you, using the clock there, you've got 3 minutes at the moment, and obviously there is a countdown on there. Eventually it will go to 0. When it gets to 0, it will start beeping at you a few times, and then it will shut down like that. Okay, back to standby mode. That means it's now ready and heated up. If you want to preheat both up, obviously you can do, it's not a problem. Again, let's just go back to where we were. You press 2, and then I'm going to the preheat button, which is the first one. And if I want to hit preheat basket 1, I'll press basket 1, and again the preheat button. So now they'll both be heated up to 180 degrees for 3 minutes, and when I press the play button, it will start and do preheat up. Okay, let's just turn this off again, and then back on from standby. Now, the only other thing you need to know about on here is you've got a smart finish and a match cook. Now, we'll start with match cook. Just say, for example, you have 2 foods. Again, I'll use chips, and maybe you've got chicken and chips. So you've got chicken maybe in that one, and you've got chips in the other. If you've looked at your cooking temperatures on the back of the packaging, and just say, for example, the chips and the chicken both cook at 180 degrees for 20 minutes. They're both exactly the same. So rather than you having to program both baskets with the time and the temperature, and then go across the other one, time and the temperature, what you can do is you press the smart or the match cook. Okay, that will flash. You then press the basket, one basket, doesn't matter which one. You then press what you're going to cook. Let's just say, or let's just go for the cake symbol. Okay, it's gone off, so I'm going to have to press it again. And then the cake symbol. Okay, so it's now saying that both baskets will go 160 degrees for 25 minutes. If you decide, no, that's not quite right, it needs to be extra temperature or an extra time, all you need to do is to go across to the temperature. If I want to increase it from 160 degrees, okay, 170 degrees, but both of them will do. This is exactly the same, so it's now 170 degrees. Or if I think it needs less than 25 minutes, for example, I'll just go to the timer and I press less on there, it's 24, 23, but it does both at the same time. Once you're happy that there's the right temperature on both baskets and the time is correct, you just press the play button, and again, it will heat both of them to 170 degrees, and it'll be for 22 minutes. And again, once it gets to the end, it will bleep at you a few times and then go into standby mode, i.e. like that. Okay, the only other thing we have on here, which is quite a handy one, to be honest with you, is the smart finish. So how does that work? Well, what that basically does is if you've got 2 different foods, both at different temperatures, both at different cooking times, what that will do, it will start off the food which has got the longest cooking time. It will start that off first, and then when the cooking time is the same as whatever else you've got in the second basket, so just for, say for example, we'll go back to chicken and chips. I'm sorry to keep saying chicken and chips, but that's the easiest way. Your chips will take half an hour at 200 degrees, for example. Your chicken might only be 20 minutes at 180 degrees. So you would program both baskets to whatever it is that you want. So we'll just say, for example, let's go for 1. We'll say, again, we're going to go for chips. So it's 200 degrees at 18 minutes. Basket 2, I've got chicken in. Okay, so make sure it's flashing, otherwise it's not going to do. You go for the chicken symbol, which is there. But again, remember, this can all be changed. And it's now saying that, as you can see, the chicken is going to take 20 minutes at 200 degrees, whereas my chips are only going to take 18 minutes at 200 degrees. So what we've just done with the smart cook, so I just press the smart cook. So there we go. Make sure that's flashing as well. When I press the play button, what will happen is basket 2 will start first because it's the longest cooking time for 20 minutes. When it gets down to 18 minutes, it will then switch on the second basket. Okay, so basically both foods will finish at the same time, and that is what smart finish actually all that is. Okay, so hopefully that's clarified a little bit. Like I said before, these symbols don't really necessarily represent the food you're cooking. Okay, so for example, like I said, I can turn it back on again. We'll turn it on standby, turn it back on. Just say, for example, I wanted to cook chips in 2. Okay, again, you have to press the button and make sure it's flashing, because it will stop again if you don't do nothing within sort of like 10 seconds. So it's flashing at the moment. I want to cook chips, but I'm actually going to press pizza. Okay, it doesn't matter. It's just the cooking time and the temperature that you'll suddenly get up on the display. Now, if you decided before to say, for example, my chips are actually need to be 200 degrees and I need to cook for half hour, sorry, all I need to do is obviously to adjust that. Now, to do that, again, make sure you press the 2 so it's flashing. If I want it to 200 degrees, we need to go over to the temperature, and I can increase by putting my finger on there, 190, 200 degrees. I'm happy with that. And now my cooking time, although it's 20 minutes, my chips, for example, may take 30 minutes. Again, just look at the cooking time on the back of the packaging. So if it takes 30 minutes, all I need to do, again, because it stopped flashing, nothing will happen. I need to press it again. So it's flashing. Now I'll go to my time, and I want 30 minutes. So I press 1, 2, and I can just go up to 30. If I keep your finger on it, it'll go a lot quicker. Oh, it's too much now, obviously. So, you know, you can just keep your finger on it, and it'll come down quicker. Oh, it's too much. Keep your finger on it, it'll go up quicker. But if you just want it in small increments, just keep your finger on it slowly, 1, 2, just keep tapping it, and it'll go up to where you want it to be. Okay, so we're now going to go to the 30 minutes where my chips are going to be. So we're now at 200 degrees, 30 minutes, even though I said, yes, I said I'm chips, but I actually put it under the pizza. It's irrelevant, it's just the times. That's what you need to do. Once you're happy with that, you come down here and press play, and obviously that will cook your food, obviously, until it's done, and then it will switch itself off. One last thing I will just say though is with the air fryer, they will cook quicker and at a lower temperature than a normal fan assisted oven does. So if you look on the back of your food, whatever it is you're cooking, look on the back of your food and work out the cooking time and the temperature. Now, basically with an air fryer, just remember 20-20. Now, what that basically means is you bring the temperature down by 20 degrees. So, for example, again, I'm sorry to use this, but we'll just say use chips for example. If it said your chips take 200 degrees and let's just say for an hour, I'm just using an example. So 200 degrees for an hour, 60 minutes. Now, if you use the 20-20 ratio, what it basically means, you bring the temperature down by 20 degrees. So rather than being 200 degrees, what it says on the back of the packet, you bring it down to 180. And then the cooking time, which I said before, just say for example, it said 60 minutes. Okay, you take 20% of the cooking time off that. So, for example, if it's an hour, just going to make it easy. 10% of an hour is 60 minutes. 10% is 6 minutes. We need 20% off that. So 10% is 6. So 20% is actually 12. So you take 12 minutes off the cooking time of an hour, which will leave you 48 minutes. Okay, so that's the basics on there. What you can do, if you're still not too sure about the cooking times, if you go on to, there's usually Facebook pages, etc. But basically what you can do is you can download something like this, which gives you examples of what a normal oven is and the actual cooking time for an air fryer. Okay, so again, it shows you that the temperature of an oven or a fan assisted oven, just for example 170 degrees, well actually in fact you'd put it at 150 degrees. If your oven said 200 degrees, you'll actually put it at 180 degrees. And obviously your timings are here, so again if it said 30 minutes in your oven, you'd actually be 24 minutes. So that's the 20-20 rule. Hopefully all this will make things a little bit easier for you. I'll say this is a basic cooking guide to use in the tower, because they have made it a little more complicated than it has to be. And thank you for watching.